Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you after an unexpected week off to talk about 2 weeks worth of board games and
which is about
accoutrement.
as much time as it takes for us to have a full episode's worth of content at this point.
Yeah, we don't play nearly as much games as we used to. But I have another interview for a Monday to Friday job, so maybe weekend gaming will be back on the menu.
Wow.
Wow.
And you'll have to get in on the next series of campaign games that we're at least 3 deep in right now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be forever before I get to play anything with any of you guys again. Need to find new friends to play board games with, apparently.
Oh, geez.
Good luck finding new friends at this age and this economy.
in this economy. But yeah, so we're back and we're doing board game streams and recordings and podcasts and all of those things. At least until we take a break for Thanksgiving, probably.
Yes,
like 2
and
weeks.
inevitably, yeah,
Yeah. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there
in like 2 weeks.
in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yep.
So, yeah, there you go. That's your engagement period. Let's jump into what we've been playing because we got 2 weeks worth of that shit. So, I'll start with, do we want to do all of, like, each person do all of their things, or do we want to do, like, last week, 1, 2, 3, and then this week, 1, 2, 3?
Let's just, maybe you do that, and then we'll do the other thing.
Yeah.
And then we'll just get it really...
It doesn't work that way, I guess, kind of. All right, whatever. So we'll start with game nights. So 2 weeks ago, we went to Burns Family Artisanal Ales, BFAA. They found a ridiculous fucking table in the little, like, cul-de-sac area where they are that was clearly, like, from,
it's
like, a vinyl.
It's not really a cul-de-sac. It's more of, like, a weird commercial area with a lot of garage doors.
It's like a little warehouse district.
Yeah.
Thing, but it's like a little U-shaped with little parking.
And about 20 feet across.
Yeah, not very big. But one of the other buildings was clearly like a print shop, like a sign shop for vinyl stuff. And they had a big table for, like, cutting large vinyl signs. It's all scored to shit. It's huge and bulky and, like, custom made out of, like, 2x4s and a lot of wood. And apparently the owner, Laura, found it, was like, oh, this would be great for the gamers, and brought it in. But, like, there's no way to slide your legs underneath the table. So it's really awkward to actually play games on.
Like, it's really close to the ground?
No, it's like it's just sort of flush
Yeah.
down.
Oh,
It's definitely meant to be like a work table that you stand at. Not
there's no way to put, okay, got it.
Yeah. So you can sit in a chair at it, but your knees are, like, against the side of the table, and then you have to lean way far forward.
I see.
It'd be great if you wanted to play, like, a huge, like, what's that game they always have at the local conventions, the pod racing game. Or
Yeah,
something
it
like
worked
that,
good
where
for
you
me.
stand up and move around it, or maybe if you're playing, like, Armada or something, it'd be
Yeah.
a great
Or
table
like just a big social game would work good for that because you don't need to be
at the table.
at the table.
It'd be a
Sitting
place for
at the
drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But anyhow,
Well, luckily we had very, very skinny tables otherwise.
yeah, and then some of the other tables were very narrow. It was an interesting mix of tables.
There was one table that was okay sized that you used.
And I took it for the entire time.
You
I think
did.
there were 2 folding tables in that other back room, weren't there?
I think she added them later.
Okay.
Because the ones in the back were just more of the long, skinny tables.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Anyhow, yeah, so I took up the one reasonable sized table with Terraforming Mars, which barely fit. It was reasonably sized to be barely big enough for Terraforming Mars. We were
For
definitely
4 people,
for
right?
a 4-player game at Terraforming Mars. So I had told my friend Andy, who's a regular game night, that I would teach him Terraforming Mars. And apparently I may have suggested that I would teach him Terraforming Mars, that night. Like the week before, I told him I'd teach him the next week. So
You did,
he showed
yes,
up
yeah.
and was like, hey, are we still good to learn Terraforming Mars? And I was like, well, if we can get there early enough. Well, then I didn't get there until, like, right at 6 because I had a bunch of shit going on. And they don't really open early there, which is kind of unfortunate. But he still wanted to play, and I had brought it, and I was like, okay, I'll play if we can find some other players. And there were 2 other people who were like, hey, yeah, I love Terraforming Mars. Let's do this. And I was like, okay, cool. The one guy, I don't remember his name. He's been to game night apparently a couple times. People knew him. I'd never really met him. His being like, I love Terraforming Mars. Yes, I know Terraforming Mars was, I've played like 2 or 3 times on the app or on Steam or whatever, like not ever physically having to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then he tried to like he was definitely a jump in on the teach kind of guy because I'm trying to teach Andy, and I have a very set way I like to teach Terraforming Mars. I've done it a lot. I'm pretty good at it. And he kept trying to like jump in and be like, oh, but don't forget about this. And it's like, yeah, I won't, because that's an important thing that I talk about later when it's relevant.
Yeah, when
like,
it has context.
Yeah. Anyhow, we started playing, and it was taking just forever, pretty much immediately. Like I'd messaged Megan at one point. I was like, I made a terrible mistake. It's like we've been here for like an hour and we just started Gen 2. And like this is
oh
not.
No, that's Gen, the first. That's the shortest one.
It wasn't. I don't think it was quite that bad, but it was pretty bad. And I kept updating her as I was like, okay, it's an hour after I messaged you the last time. We're now in Gen 3. Like.
So what were you playing with? Like, how many expansions were you playing with?
So I played with Prelude because that's mandatory, especially because it usually cuts down on the length of the game.
Yep.
And then we played, I think we played on the base board.
Okay.
So I don't think we didn't play with Hellas or Elysium. And other than that, just a handful of cards from some of the other expansions that don't rely on those expansions got mixed in. So like there's, some new corps and things like that.
But not the Venus board or the colonies or...
Nope.
Okay.
None of that extra time addy stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It got really egregious in like the last 2 rounds when that player who I'd mentioned earlier, who was the rule jumper inner, he was winning on an award that I was like solidly in second for, and I was within striking distance of first. So he decided that, just to make sure that like I never had a chance to steal it, he switched to like super slow play mode where he was like one action pass action pass for the last 2 rounds of the game. It was infuriating. It's like, come on, dude. Like, okay, yes, you're the only one. Like, we've all hard passed. You don't need to keep doing one action pass. It wasn't quite that bad, but it felt that way. He ended up winning. And
sounds to me like he was completely justified in everything he did.
He did just barely lose.
Okay, then he was a fool.
Yeah, because there was a moment earlier in the game that also pissed me off because I was building up to get one of the milestones. And I was going to be able to get it on my turn, and the person right ahead of me whose turn it was, they qualified for the same milestone. They just hadn't realized it yet. And that other guy, he was like, oh, I'm surprised you haven't bought that milestone yet, player 2. Like, and player 2 was like, looked around, was like, oh yeah, I guess I probably should. Like, Adrian might steal that from me. And so then they locked it up, and I was like, you son of a bitch. I was going to steal it from him. And the best thing is because that scores him 5 points. If he hadn't said anything, he only lost by 3 points to that player. So
gotcha.
He fucked himself in fucking me.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, it took way too long. Having a new player in Andy, like that's going to add a little bit of time just because he doesn't understand like the cards. And so it takes him a little longer to read at him. But like even in the drafting phase, like Andy regularly was like the other guy who was he was the problem child on like every aspect of this game. He was always the one we were like held
waiting
up for on the
Gotcha.
drafting. He was like taking forever on his turns. It was just very frustrating. I don't think I'll play games with him again if I can help it. I came in third. It was a pretty dismal showing for me. And then Andy was brand new playing with people who knew the game. So he came in solidly last.
Gotcha.
That was the only game I got to play because it took 4 fucking hours. And then it was like, all right, well, I guess I'll go home because I got to be at work in the morning. The following week, we'll just do all of them at once.
Mm-hmm.
So this week we were at D-Bolt. I hadn't been at D-Bolt in a little while because I was in Costa Rica last time we were there. And I think I might have missed the one before that too for some reason. I can't remember. Anyhow, I was going to play Hallertau, but then that kind of fell through. And
I remember.
Yeah.
'Cause then I got there and I was like, oh, I thought we were going to play Hallertau, but no.
Yeah. Well, I made the mistake. I thought Cartographers. So Megan and I got there and we were waiting for other people. And I thought Cartographers would play a little bit quicker than it did. It took a little bit of time. So we played Cartographers, me and Megan.
Oh my God.
Megan had never played it.
Cartographers?
Cartographers.
Oh, man.
We never talk about how good Cartographers is.
My Heroes Pledge will be in soon.
Good. I want to play it.
Yeah.
Megan really liked it, which was nice. I
Weird.
liked it. And we played.
It's a good game that everyone loves.
I know, it's a great game.
Well, it was nice too because he had a little cheering section next to Adrian that was really advocating for all the good decisions that he made.
Yes.
Yep.
Was it you?
Yes.
Well, it helped that I was playing against Ryan, so he was catching all of Zach's angst. Or not angst, that's not the right word at all. All of Zach's sass.
Sass.
Lance. Yeah, Lance, not Ryan.
No, what
Ryan was playing in the back of the dinosaur game.
At this point, we should probably just double check every word that comes out of his mouth. Yeah.
This is correct.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to was that his first game plan, or had he played a couple?
He had played before.
Okay. Yeah. I was just
Supposedly.
Yeah. Supposedly.
You wouldn't tell by the score.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I try to be like, I wasn't trying to tell him where to play or anything like that, but it was like, suggestions, and it'd be like, you try to avoid this, you're looking for this sort of thing. These cards can come out like, oh, you leave this 2 spaces and the green one comes out, you can get a coin and it also fill up this thing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, and then just being like, that was bad, Adrian. And then just going back to Lance. And that was real bad, Adrian. And then back to Lance.
Uh-huh. Yeah, not even paying attention to anything I did. It's just like, okay, I'm ready to move on. Oh, you did that in a bad spot,
yeah,
Adrian.
that was, the foundation of his play in that game was in shambles.
And yet, I still won. So it worked out. But yeah, really like Cartographers. At that point, we kind of gave up on Hallertau. I don't know what Zach went and played. I'm sure we'll hear about it here shortly. I instead played, Megan had a coworker come who really wanted to learn Betrayal. And so we played Betrayal at the house on the hill. Leander had showed up from High Dungeon Delvers. He hasn't made a game night in a while. He wanted to play something cooperative. So he jumped in on that. Because it's cooperative until it's not.
Yeah. 5 people, right?
And we had 5 people. Okay. We did not have the 6th.
That's good. Yeah.
Taylor jumped in as our
yes.
5th. And yeah, it was a really fun haunt. It was haunt number 12. And
spoiler alert, Ant. Don't listen to this part. Don't listen.
Jump away, Ant. Anybody who cares about spoilers for particular ones, this one was all cooperative.
Of the base game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you had to choose that one because Leander wanted to play some cooperative. So all right, I guess we'll just choose one of the ones that has no traitor.
Yep. So it was one where, now here's where the actual spoilers come in. This one was, I don't remember the name of it, but it was like you had your doppelgangers show up at the front door and they attacked you.
I wouldn't say it was called doppelgangers.
It wasn't. It was something like fleshy skins or something.
Gross.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I've played that one.
Yeah. Megan died immediately trying to leave the junk room before the monsters ever even attacked her. We got beat up hard before the haunt. Like the house was very mean to us pre-haunt. So we were all kind of on our last legs. So she died before ever encountering a single doppelganger, just trying to leave the junk room.
Because before the haunt, you can't die.
Correct.
So, but as soon as the haunt is real, then you can die if your track's over. That's hilarious. That it's just like she just hears like, ooh, spooky, and then just falls and just kills herself.
Yep.
Like, did anybody find her body or anything like that? Or she just...
Nope. We never knew what happened to her. She just disappeared somewhere in that big spooky house under a pile of junk in the junk room.
Was her doppelganger really a doppelganger, or just like the version of her that deserved to live?
I don't know, because it was also the first one of them that we shotgunned in the face.
We'll never know.
Was this before you knew that there were doppelgangers? Or did you just see someone that looked like Megan's character and then you just shot her?
Boom!
Because we haven't seen Megan in a while. Yeah. Oh shit, it's your doppelganger. Bang.
Well, we win.
I killed my doppelganger, but then immediately had Taylor's doppelganger. She ran away. I killed mine, and then her doppelganger had rolled, because you roll movement for your own doppelganger, and then they move towards you that much. And if they end their turn in the space with another player, they attack them.
Yeah.
So her speed was like a 3. So she had a chance to roll anything from a 0 to a 6.
Mm-hmm.
She rolled a 2. I was exactly 2 spaces away from the monster towards her. So it ran right over to me, and then it punched me in the face and killed me.
Bam. Nice.
And then they proceeded, Taylor and Megan's friend Katie and Leander, the 3 of them wiped up and took care of the rest of them and ended up winning. So
you did it.
Yeah.
We need to play Legacy
for sure. We Megan and I talked a lot about Legacy, like while we were playing. They're like, man, we really need to get back into that. Like, it's so much fun. And then after that, the last game I played for the evening is I finally got a chance to play For Sale Autorama, the new like deluxeified For Sale version. This does a couple really interesting things. So it adds a third phase. So instead of it being like buying or like bidding for the houses and then selling the houses, the first thing is you're bidding.
Is it still about houses or is it about cars?
It's cars now.
Okay.
So the first phase is you bid for advisors. And the advisors are numbered 1 through 30, just like the cars are.
Okay.
But they all have special abilities that trigger in various phases. So some of them are like the cheapest ones are if you get this card this turn, you take back all of your money instead of half. So like if you pass when one of those is the lowest, you just get all your money back.
Oh, okay.
Which can be kind of nice.
And it's worthwhile then to jack up the price.
Yeah.
So,
or like some other ones are like some of the other abilities, like one of them is in the later bidding phase, if you don't get the highest card available, take $4,000 from the bank.
gotcha.
Things like that. So you bid for those, and then once everybody has gotten all of those, you go into the buying cars phase. And for this one, you lay out the 4 cars, just like you lay out the 4 houses, but you go in player order and play one advisor with a strength. So if you're the first player, you have to play not knowing what anybody else is going to follow up with.
Okay.
And so then everybody follows up. Whoever played the highest valued advisor gets the highest card, unless there's powers that interfere, which sometimes there are. Like some of the advisors have, like one of the advisors' abilities is like, this is a 13. If you spend $3,000, it's a 33.
Okay. So you're using
The advisor's value to get the cars.
Gotcha. Okay. So like the cash that you use is only in the first phase.
Only in the
then
first phase.
This goes into the cars and then cars turn into.
And then you sell the cars.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah. So then when you go into the selling the car phase, then it goes into the everybody does the blind and reveal.
Right.
And there's again like some of those advisor cards still have abilities that will trigger in that round. And those all kind of made it fairly interesting. I really liked. It took a little longer because it has a whole nother round.
It's a 30%
longer.
more phases. Or 50% more phases.
50% more phases. A third longer.
Yeah.
No, still just 50% longer.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's how that works.
Sure.
Depends if that phase is as long as the other phases.
I
Could
think
be longer than the other phases, and then it's more longer.
I feel like since that phase plays exactly
So
like
now
the
we're
buying,
making Adrian do math, which is just stretching the episode.
since the first phase
This episode
plays,
is now 50% longer.
the first and last phases of Autorama play exactly the same as the first and last the only 2 phases of For Sale. It's that middle phase that, so especially since you do it 1 card at a time.
Right.
I think there's a little bit more a little bit more like thinking involved, so it probably is a little bit more than 50% longer.
But is the auction still like I bid 3, then you have to go 4 or higher, and then it goes
higher?
Yeah,
pass,
and then it pass. Okay.
Yep. I really liked it. I felt like I was a little nervous that I wouldn't like that additional round and like the advisors having powers throughout. I thought it'd make it too swingy and weird, but I actually thought it really helped that none of the powers were so bizarre that they like way affected the flow of the game or strategy.
Right.
I felt like there's definitely still times when you're like, okay, well, the lowest card out there is a 20, so now's a great chance to use my really cheap thing and get something high value for it, And there were still times when somebody'd play something that was like, well, you burned your 30 way too early. So yeah, I thought it was a good continuation of the system.
Question: was the worst car like still a cardboard box, but like with wheels drawn?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I feel like they took the art a little bit more seriously on this one.
Because that was always my favorite thing on like I always tried to get the cardboard box if it wasn't the worst. I mean, well, it's obviously objectively worse, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I always just wanted to see how much money can I get for this piece of shit. And it was always nice when you're able to like, I got $8,000 for this. Are you kidding me?
Right. So, yeah. It was another one that everybody liked. We played a 4-player game of it. It went really well.
Yeah. I definitely want to try that one.
Yeah, I'd happily play it sometime. We'd maybe even do a stream of that too.
Yeah.
Grab a 4th or 5th, and play a game of it. And then the last thing I played wasn't at game night. Zach, you and I finally started Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
Yes.
And we really liked it.
Yes.
We only did the prelude, the prologue, whatever. Which was good because we realized about halfway through that we were going for something very wrong.
What'd you do?
Instead of going for
So for teams, we were collecting region cards.
Vans.
For Vans, we were collecting
Regions, not
factions.
No,
faction or
it's-
alignments.
Alignments.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we were like almost to get a van and like start doing a bunch of shit. And then we like read something again. And it was like, oh, it says you need 5 of that. Like the alignment matching your city.
And then we looked and we're like, we have like, I've got 3, 2, and 2.
Yeah.
He's got 3, 2, and 2. And it's like,
yes.
oh,
yes.
no.
Amazingly, we were able to pull it out. We were getting close to the end. It had been kind of a longer play of it. And Zach was like, well, Adrian, I think we just need to harder the cards it.
Yeah, we just need to rely on my luck on pulling the right card at the right time.
And he did.
And I did.
Yeah.
It was a 1 in 5 chance of the card under the objective being exactly where we were. And I was like, but it's going to be that.
It
It's
was 1 out of what?
1 out of 5.
That was not good.
No, not at all.
We've lost on significantly better odds.
Well, and here's the thing too. That 1 in 5, there was a 2 in 5 chance that it was even that alignment. If it wasn't that alignment, we were 100% lost. We could not do it any other way because we had 1 incident token left.
Oh, the prologue didn't go well for you guys, huh?
No.
I mean, it sounds to me like we won both objectives, so that's a win in my book.
That is a succeeding, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was not even a
Adequate.
Nope.
We succeeded.
Or a failing.
Nope.
So
Or we like to call it a suck, a dick, or a fail.
Yeah.
ADEQ.
ADEQ.
Suck
Yeah.
for succeed.
Yeah.
A dick.
A deek.
A deek. I really liked the changes in it because it definitely, and it felt to me like a more complete game than season 2 did at prologue and beginning.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, and it was I really liked it. Felt very different while having some stuff be just similar enough.
yes.
Like I definitely at the start of the game, like the way the incident tokens are like they look like a stack of little chips. I thought we had a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't a big deal, and it was like, oh wait, no, there's only 7 of those.
It is
Okay,
the
so
out-
it's just
it's
like
the
outbreaks.
outbreak
Yeah.
There's
equivalent,
just
yeah.
not the little tracker anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like
Because it'll matter on when those happen.
yes, the incidents.
Because the card, all the infection cards are dual use now.
Which I really like that addition too. That it's so not the same thing happens each time.
Mm-hmm.
No longer will your Soviet agents, outbreak into all adjacent cities,
Yep.
but an incident will happen on some area. I don't like how it's worded on the cards though, because they list out like all the details and then put where it happens at the end
Yeah.
of the paragraph.
Uh-huh.
It should probably be at the start
Yeah.
Yeah.
where you can be like, incident tokens in North America. There's none. Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's my only critique.
And like you had mentioned previously when you first played it, I like that the temp visas.
The temp agents
Yeah.
or whatever, the
Yeah.
starter characters
Yeah,
before you get your
Actually have abilities and stuff.
So you
Yeah.
aren't super fucked that way.
Correct.
Yes.
Which is good. But I'm looking forward to actually getting that one started, making disguises, having those. I didn't realize that it was like each one of the different identities you have is like you can only choose one of them this round or something like that.
Yes.
It's how it seems how the rule book worded it. So
Well, you only start with one,
Right.
and then you unlock the others. As the
Yeah,
game
that's what I
goes on.
figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, I super look forward to playing more. I really enjoyed
Yep.
The prologue, and I think that it's going to be I'll be honest, I was a little like not hesitant, but I was definitely a little like, not eager to jump right in because although I really liked the story of 2, the gameplay drug and got very, I don't know, kind of a slog.
Unless you get the right thing at the right time, some of your games might be way harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get the thing that would make them not as hard.
Yeah. And that's how I really felt about and so I wasn't eager to jump right back in so soon after finishing it. And then I played and I was like, okay, I'm actually really glad we did this.
Well, as someone that played June, July, and August this weekend, it continues to be good.
Awesome.
Good to hear. What's your record so far?
I think we only have one loss, a couple ADEQs, maybe one ADEQ, But mostly all success.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, only one.
Still playing it with 4?
Still playing it with 4.
Okay.
Still playing it with the same 4 I've played season 1 and 2 with.
Gotcha.
Kaiser, Wes, and Ant. So we've gone through all of them. I think Kaiser's played through like multiple season 1 and 2 games at this point as well.
Yes.
I've played through almost all of my second play of season 1. Megan and I kind of stalled out. That was one of our early like pandemic, like, oh, we'll just play this on Tabletop Simulator together, and then we kind of stalled.
Yeah.
Yeah, season 0 was really good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything. It's really like what the mistake that you've already made, remembering that it's like region versus
The cards are
allegiance and what you need for that objective.
Mhm.
And just reminding yourself, it's like, it doesn't matter what one they are. It just matters
Yeah.
blank.
Well, it's because we were trying to do 2 things at once, and we're like, oh, we need to use the regions for this ability and use the alignments for this, and then we transpose them, and you're like, oh no, and then the ones that we needed to identify that one card, so it wasn't that 1 in 5 chance, were also the cards that had the alignment that we needed, and it was like, shit.
I do also enjoy that you get generally more upgrade points than the other games.
That's good.
Even if you're like not doing well, you'll still get like a fairly good amount. So you're actually getting all those upgrades and stuff.
Yeah. That seems like a good design idea. Like just, knowing that people like to get things,
Well, and
so
also
like just adjust the difficulty for the game itself harder. But
I mean,
give
it also
more
makes
abilities or
sense
something.
thematically because the world has not been destroyed yet.
True.
So it's easier to be like, oh, here's a new car.
Let's say it's 1962.
Yes.
Yeah. And the CIA still hates funding you.
Yeah. But we're scientists or doctors turned
Doctors turned
Medical
spies.
backgrounds, I think, is the wording.
because it's easier to do that.
Like training astronauts
Exactly.
to drill oil.
Yeah. No, you got to get oil drillers, turn them into astronauts. That's the smart thing to do.
What was that? The Armageddon DVD commentary?
Yes.
Is that what was from?
Yeah.
It was Ben Affleck. And then when he said, who did that? Bruckheimer? Was that? It was
That
No, it was Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Armageddon was Michael Bay?
Yeah.
And then Michael Bay told him, "Shut the fuck up, Ben."
Yeah. That sounds right.
Also, Pandemic Legacy Season 0 is the only game I played, so
Okay.
now
we
we've
go.
talked about it.
So Zach, what else did you play?
Oh, well, I only played one
Did
other.
you not play anything at Burns either?
He was
I
on
didn't
there.
go to
Go to
Burns.
Burns.
I got my booster that day, and I was
That's
like,
right.
I'm in bed, and I'm
Yeah.
staying in bed
That's
until
right.
tomorrow.
That's
and
right.
I barely went to work, only because we had like 2 people out, and if I didn't show up, it would be literally one person all day, and be like, I'm not gonna fuck him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not fuck him when I
Yeah.
go to work. By going to work.
We can speak more on that later.
Yes.
But the game that I played, because I only played one other game, although it was twice, it was both Wednesdays. It was Genotype, which is a game about.
Is it the Science-y
It's
board
the
game
yeah.
people? The
Yeah,
same
but-
one that did Subatomic? And
No, it's a different.
Okay.
No. This one, but it's about it's about genetics. It's about the whole P not P. The
Urine?
crossbreeding thing. No. PEA. The I forget the term right now, but it's oh my god. Why? Okay, just give me one second.
I don't know. I don't know.
The square thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Square thing.
I'm
Genes?
Yeah, but it's where because you can do like the major and the minor and the major and the minor, and then you can be like, oh, you have
Traits.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people have red
Punnett
hair.
Squares.
Punnett Squares.
you,
Mendelian genetics.
Mike Jones.
Thank you very much. Mendelian genetics game. Yeah, it's about Punnett Squares, and it is pea plants. It was about
Pea plants.
crossbreeding pea plants and becoming a master geneticist.
Is that a plant that you pee into, and that's how it gets your genetics?
Pretty sure no.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not
but
a
I
golden
don't
shower
know.
game,
But I
Jeff.
don't know enough about genetics to disprove you.
I don't know enough about how peas are made.
Yeah. That's why you need to play this game. Then you will know. But so it's a worker placement game where you're trying to get certain. Okay, yeah, that was just him saying it. You're just trying to get certain traits in certain plants to get, and once you succeed in those, you get you can harvest the plants to get points, and the game is over. It's over, over 5 rounds, and there's a couple pretty interesting things on this. Is one, how you actually get those different traits is through dice. You have five dice that you roll at the end of the round, and you're a couple of the different spots you're choosing are like, if you want it to be like a tall plant versus a small plant, you're like, but I need those traits first, or I need to have the best chance of getting those traits. You can choose like first pick of those, because there's four different rows of 5 different dice, and if you can choose a spot to be like, I want to have first dibs on that. There's also another spot that's like, I want to have first pick after everybody has their first pick.
Okay.
Or you can just be like, at the end of the round, you just go in turn order and just sort of pick dice however. So if you're like, I can take whatever, it's like, I'm going to focus on other things like getting money or getting different plants to try and, form a strategy, because you can try and do research grants on certain types of expressed traits. So if you want it to be like the capital T, or like capital T, lower T, right? Because that's how the Punnett squares work, right?
Look, I only know what Jude Law taught me in Gattaca.
Okay, all right. Well, I haven't seen that, so
what?
Yeah.
Wait.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Zach's not gonna
Screeching
like Gattaca,
halt to the podcast.
though. Zach's not gonna like Gattaca though.
Oh, it's
amazing. I love Gattaca. It's a great movie. Zach's not.
That's
gonna
what I've
like
heard,
it.
but I just haven't.
It's gonna be too slow of a burn for Zach. I feel like.
I can like movies that have slow burns.
It's
Not
good.
Paul. Paul's the one that's like, I need.
It's Jude Law and who's the guy?
Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yeah, Ethan Hawke's probably the worst part, but
Even he's fine in it.
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman's in it too. Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, so you.
I watched it in like 7th grade biology class.
Okay. All right.
That was a stretch by that teacher.
Yeah.
So you're just basically just trying to get different, just getting different traits, right? And you can manipulate them in certain ways to have them turn better in your favor. So instead of the Punnett square having 2 capital T's and 2 lower T's, it's a capital and lower and then a capital lower. You're like, now it has 2 capital on the left side and then a capital and the lower on the top side, meaning that you have a better chance of getting that capital T, but also it means that you can't get the lower T, because it's no longer an option, and so you can mess with some people that way. But it's just a worker play. I don't really know how else to, it's got that, which is cool. It's got assistants that you can hire to get special powers, which are real nice. Some of them make things cheaper. Some of them it's like a pollen brush that if you get one trait, if you validate one trait, you can validate any instances of that trait, which I used to great effect because I had 3 plants out, and then in all 3 of them needed a capital T, lower T, and then it's like, oh, okay, well I'll get one of the dice to do that, and then I can validate 3 different traits, right? So, action economy sort of thing. The upgrade little section is interesting too, in that every time somebody buys an upgrade, it makes it more expensive for the other people.
Okay, cool.
And that goes in reverse turn order. So if you go first, you get it last, but then as soon as you goes to somebody else's turn, or once you're last place, you get to buy that stuff first. So you can plan on having certain things in certain times, because as you get more pawns, you get more dice slots, you get more flower beds, so you can have plants. You get the assistants, you get some stuff like that. So yeah,
cool.
But I played it played it twice. First time I barely won because Wes was not able to get on the final round any of a specific trait that he needed to finish them.
Okay.
Now there are ways to mitigate that, because there are tools you can get that are one-time things. You could be you can turn a trait into a wild, but there's also assistants you can get to help you with that, or you can mutate the dice to try and get something more specific if it comes up.
Sure.
But it just didn't on that last one. And that I remember playing that one. I was just like, oh man, I can't imagine if this was Adrian, because he would have crushed, he would have gotten 30 points, I think, on that final round. And I think I ended up winning with 74 to Taylor's 72. And then Wes lost by 6. He was 60 something. But like not having that option to him. I was just like, oh man, I could see some people really
Yeah, that would
not
kind of
like it.
suck.
But next round, we all did better. So it was Wes, me, and Lance. Wes and I both did better than our previous play. Like he got second with 82. So it was like higher than the previous winning score.
Mhm.
I ended up getting 100 to win.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So you've won both?
Yes, I won both games that I played.
Lance chimes in on chat that he lost by a shit ton.
He really did. It wasn't great.
You know, he was probably really tired from all of the widespread panic and fish shows that he's been to with my boss over the last month.
I would not be surprised.
They have been to the same shows in like Phoenix and California and Louisiana. And I was like, oh, here's the pictures of that same show that my friend is posting on Facebook because you were totally at the same shows. And he's like, yep, that's the place. I was like, great.
Yeah. No, but it's definitely one of those games where missing out on good stuff early can hurt because Wes was able to get a pawn. He was last, so he was able to buy a pawn first. But because he bought a pawn, I then bought the assistant that was up that was basically that free pollen brush. So I was at any time, I was just like, oh, I just need to get a lot of plants that have similar traits. And so I was able to like, oh, I've got 4 dice. I have validated 8 traits with those 4 dice because I was able to match them up.
Mm.
And so Lance just didn't have that either time. And then it was hard for him to come back from that, but I enjoyed it both times. I think it'd be a good game for this too.
For stream.
It doesn't have a lot of denial, but you can really like, I don't feel that when I'm playing it. There are plenty of instances where I was just like, fuck you, Lance, fuck you, Wes, for taking those things that I really fucking needed, because especially the traits when they come out, when there's only one little t, and you're like, I fucking need that. I need that one. And then they're like, I was going to say, you can't hate draft specifically.
Okay.
But like, you can't take something that you can't use. But any of the times, like if you had an assistant or a card that was like, oh, you can turn that into wild, you definitely going to be like, oh, this is the thing that everybody needs. I'm going to take it and turn it into the thing there's already dice of, because fuck you guys.
Seems like quite the game about pea.
Yeah, about pea.
About peas.
Peas.
Yep.
Peas.
Anything else you played,
No.
Zach? That pretty much wraps it
That's
up.
it.
All right.
It's a solid 10 minutes about peas.
Yeah.
There you go. So now we can move on to a little bit of banter here. I don't have a ton. I'm basically finished with Horizon Zero Dawn.
You were already finished with it.
I had the expansion.
Yeah, the expansion.
Yeah.
I haven't played that yet.
So I finished the main story for the expansion. There's technically like 2 side quests, but I don't think I'm going to finish them, so I don't really care. The monsters up there are a lot harder.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, way fucking harder.
Giant fire bears.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah. Unless you need them for the achievement, and then you can never find them.
There's an achievement?
I think you have to kill 5 of them or something.
Oh, there's a quest that I'm like, I killed 2 of the 5 for the quest. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really feel like fighting 3 more of these fucking
Finding them
things.
after that is not easy.
Yeah.
Question: is there a moment where it's like like there are like 3 spaces for like single ones, and then there's one that's just like 2 of them that you have to fight at once, or are they all singular?
I think they're singular
Okay.
afterwards.
Because I definitely know there's a spot for like the Thunderjaw where it's like you can fight them singular. There's also a spot where there's just you can have 2 of them and fight them both at the same time, or you turn one of them and make them fight each other. That was fun.
See, now I want to do that.
Yeah. I just go sit, and I remember I was just sitting on the cliff watching them fight, and I was like, yeah,
This is cool.
this is the life.
I definitely have enjoyed doing that from time to time, like just being like, okay, well, there's a Thunderjaw and there's a herd of like whatever the huge bison-y ones are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let me turn 2 or 3 of those and turn them loose on the Thunderjaw and see who wins. It's always surprising sometimes some of the lower level ones that just raffle stomp a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh dear. But yeah, I think I'm done.
Neat.
Expansion comes out next year, man.
No.
The sequel.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I am excited for that. And then I started playing Days Gone just today. And that's like
That's the motorcycle biker zombie
game. And
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that so far. It's got kind of a cool story. It's fairly open world, crafty zombies, all things I like. Single player. Yeah, pretty early on in it, but I think I like it. The
Yeah,
zombies
did you
are
have a
fucking hard.
Game Pass, or did you buy it?
It's Sony.
Yeah, I bought it. Yeah, it's not on
Okay.
Game Pass.
It's on PC.
It was
It's on
on
PC as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was on sale
Steam.
over Halloween, and so I grabbed
It's
it
like
on sale.
$20
Something like that, yeah.
I think I picked it up for PS4.
I grabbed that, and I
And then
grabbed
have
Green
never played
Hell,
it.
and I haven't played Green Hell yet.
It's like that board game that we covered on
I
Kickstarter
know.
many weeks to months ago.
Yeah.
Green Hell's all right. It's good.
Other than that, haven't
Don't-
been.
Yeah,
playing a lot.
you'll just step on a fucking stingray walking through a river, and you're like, God, why is there stingrays in here?
Megan's played Green Hell. She said it was very hard.
Yeah, not easy.
That's what
Everything's
I've heard.
killing you in this jungle.
So, that's it for my video game section. I just wanted to get that out of the way. There's a couple movies. Well, did either of you see last night? You saw last night in Soho.
I have
No,
not
you
seen it yet.
bailed.
No,
You forgot about
I
it.
forgot about it. I didn't bail. I just
Uh-huh.
forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about movies a little
Okay.
bit later, but video games.
I do
go
have a
ahead.
video game. I started playing Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. That is a lot better than I was initially expecting it to
That's
be.
literally what everyone is saying
Yes.
about it. It's
Yeah.
like better than expected,
Yeah.
exceeds expectations.
Yeah, it's the story's. I mean, the dialogue and stuff's real good in it.
Okay.
So it's definitely worth checking out. I think I've heard it's like about 20 hours to play through.
Okay.
I would say it's not as good as like Spider-Man, right?
Sure.
Square Enix did this one.
Yes, Square Enix. But in terms of,
It's not going to be good as like Sony proper,
well, it's not gonna be good as Insomniac. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
which is Sony now.
well, I know, but I mean
I
specific.
think they got bought after Spider-Man though.
They did. Yeah.
I
think
don't
so.
know.
But I mean, I just was specifically that studio is like one of their best ones. But
We all thought it was going to be really bad, Mike Jones.
yeah.
Guardians was like,
it's good.
oh, who cares
It-
about? Especially because Avengers was like not
And
great.
I think that's part of it too, is that
This is just a straight up single player game,
Yeah.
no live service.
yeah. It uses all the Guardians in interesting ways that I like.
It is not MCU specific.
No.
It is its
Okay.
own tale, more from the comics, but with some general leanings of
Yeah.
the MCU.
So that's how I was going to compare it to Spider-Man, where it's similar, or it has
But they're
reminiscence
doing-
of it, but it's its own
They're
thing,
doing its own thing.
and it's fun. And it's
Awesome.
not only is it better than expected, but it's even in spite
Put
of
it
that,
on the
it's
box.
still it is very fun. So yeah, I would say try it out when you get a chance.
I'm looking forward to playing that one someday.
Jeff, you didn't play much board games. I assume you got a bunch of video games.
Yeah. I played Inscription to completion, which deserves its own like spoiler cast alone.
Mm-hmm.
Inscription is good. It is a card game, so it's kind of like a digital board game. I kind of played a digital board game a lot.
Yeah.
I think we did. Did we talk about
We
it a
ta-
little
we
bit?
talked-
Was
we-
it only on Slack that we talked about it?
No, we talked about it on here last time. It was
We were still all
you
in-
were still
In the first part.
you were still in the first part.
Yeah, I think I had only played an hour.
Yes.
Now I'm like 8 hours and
Yeah.
incomplete. I have completed.
No, maybe at some point I will continue it, but like
You're in part 2.
I was just in part two, just a little bit into part 2. I was just like, this is not what I signed up for. I just don't want to play this.
It goes back.
Yeah.
It goes back. Just
That's-
get through it. Just get through
that's
it.
what I've
Just get
heard.
through it.
but
Just
it's
get through
still
it. Just do it. Just do it.
the trust is already broken.
No.
so-
Well, they regain the trust, all right?
I don't know if that's how trust works.
Mhm.
It's good. It's very good. I highly recommend you play it through completion because it's very good. And I have played it to completion, and it was very good the whole time. And it's awesome.
It's not awesome the whole time because Act 2.
I liked Act 2.
I
Everyone says it's the weakest, but it's still...
It's not that it's just not what Act 1 was, and that's what I was there for. And then it's like, oh, we're gonna change like everything except this little part and make everything look different. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't really. I wanted that really creepy aesthetic, not
What it becomes.
what it becomes.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Still good.
I'm
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
What else?
Horizon Forza 5.
Okay.
Forza Horizon 5. That just came out on the preview thingy. And I paid the extra money for the get it 4 days early because I played the absolute fuck out of the fourth one.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm all in on number 5. This one takes place in Mexico. If anyone doesn't know what Forza Horizon 5, it's an open world racing game that uses all the different universe of like car racing, like street racing, grid racing, like.
Did you ever play Need for Speed Underground?
Yes.
It was like Forza was like, why don't we do that? And then but like in the West, and then
Also the UK and Australia and now Mexico.
Yeah.
But it's all different types of cars and racing, and it's like a zillion different things. But it's also arcadey. So like you're going 270 miles an hour in your practically open wheel F1-esque car off a ramp and seeing how many, let's say 1.7 kilometers in distance you can get off the ramp that you're taking from the top of this slightly active volcano.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but was it
Incorrect.
Horizon 4
Yes.
where they're like, hey, we're just going to introduce fucking Hot Wheels tracks?
I think it was the one before that.
3? Okay.
4 had the Lego world in it.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, there was one that was just like, we're going to make an island and it's going to be fucking Hot Wheels. And it was like you were on like Hot Wheels tracks, like life size.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. This one is not even out until tomorrow. So we'll see what their crazy horse shit is in about a year.
Sounds right.
Yeah. But there's about a year's worth of content in there. There are so many icons on that goddamn map. But you have to like racing games. So
yeah.
My favorite part is you just press the Y button because you screwed up a turn and it just rewinds the fucking time. Just rewinds to where you fucked up and then you just get to do it again. You brake a little harder, make the curve. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah. Time powers. Time stone. Is that what it was? Time stone? The time?
Sure.
That was that's what
Yes.
Thanos said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's what he got from Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have that in a car
There you go.
and you use it to race. Yes. Yeah, I played like at least 2 full days of that so far.
Nice.
Okay.
I've been playing on my Xbox because I can't find a video card and it runs really good on the Xbox and it's on Game Pass. So
That's good.
Fuck.
Yep.
Why not?
Might as well.
Might as well.
Alrighty. Anything else gamey wise?
No.
Surf. Movie time.
Movie time.
So I went on a tear. I was like, I'm gonna get my fucking Draft House season pass money worth. So in the last like
So you saw
5
2
days,
movies.
I saw 3 movies in the last 5
See,
days.
I'm just saying after 2, you've made bank. You're good.
So
You've broken even.
I've broken even because I only saw 2 on the season pass because I definitely forgot to return Eternals in time. So I just paid full price for that one.
I've done that before. I forget which movie it was that I was like, I don't want to risk it because we've had friends that have had problems with it.
Yeah. But the first one I went and saw, Halloween night, I went and saw Last Night in Soho. What was that?
It's Halloween night.
It was really good. Edgar Wright, I really like.
Good to hear.
I thought you were about to say Halloween night.
No.
It was really good.
Halloween Kills?
Kills.
Halloween
It's not
Kills.
night. I think the next one is Halloween Dies.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
Yes.
No, I have no interest in that. Yeah, Last Night in Soho was really good. It wasn't at all what I expected, which is
Now I know to expect something and then have it not be that. Like, oh, God, double spoiler.
I know. The acting was phenomenal.
That's not surprising. Yeah.
Yeah. Music and everything. It's an Edgar Wright movie, so the music was great. That's like one of his things. Really enjoyed it. Little bit pardon me. A little bit too serious of a tone and like theme for me to watch it as often as I watch, like, say, Baby Driver.
Mhm.
Like, I just watch Baby Driver all the time. Last Night in Soho, it gets a little heavy.
Yeah. It's not a romp is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. But I did really like it. It was really good. And then I went and saw the new Wes Anderson, French Dispatch. If you like Wes Anderson movies,
That's what I figured.
Yeah. Very set heavy design, does a lot of interesting things with his sets and stuff like that. This one is interesting. So it's not the first time that he's done a movie where it has like very different self-contained stories. This time they felt the most disconnected. I felt like it was like basically 4 parts to the movie, and they didn't really any of them connect beyond the broadest
Gotcha.
theme. The opening one, the like intro one with Owen Wilson is amazing. Owen Wilson's been doing great stuff again lately.
Loves his jet skis.
Yeah, he does.
And then I finally watched on Sunday. I went and watched Eternals, which we all have seen now, not at the same time, but we've all seen it.
Correct.
I liked it. I thought it was
Sitting at a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Definitely doesn't deserve that.
No.
I liked it too.
Which is that critic score or is that audience score?
That's critics.
Critics.
The
audience is like
81.
81.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that feels
Yeah.
more appropriate.
Yeah. I wonder if it's at least partially just due to there was a lot of hype for like Chloe Zhao for like her directing it, especially after winning from Nomad Land. That I wonder if some people were like, they weren't expecting to get what it actually was, and so there was a disappointment there. Maybe. That they're expecting more. I don't know. It
was a bulky movie.
It was definitely
it was
a bulky movie.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a long 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
There were a couple areas where I felt
confused Kit Harington and Rob Stark's actors at one point, where I thought Kit Harington was the other guy.
Oh,
and I was like, what's going on? Oh, they're 2 different people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, Rob Stark and Jon Snow, they just love Cersei. So
yes, they do. They do.
I didn't even catch.
that?
I didn't think of that until you
Really?
just said it. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's with an S.
Yeah. There. I felt one of the. Normally, I feel like Marvel does a really good job of balancing the serious with the like, comic relief.
Mhm.
This one, I felt like there were a couple times where it was very out of place. Like the comic relief came just either a little bit too early or a little bit too late, and like I don't know. There's a scene with a pie in particular that I felt like the pie really distracted from the emotional weight of the scene.
Oh, I liked it. I liked that one. I thought that one was good. I felt like it mostly hit for me. Maybe just for me, it felt more like the things that were happening felt more natural to it. So it didn't feel like maybe I could see like tonally out of place, but it didn't feel like actual out of place where it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think it was a tonal thing. Like,
Yeah.
like it was just a very slapsticky kind of moment right in the middle of like a scene that was supposed to have like a lot of emotional weight, and it kind of like, and you want ideally comedic relief to do exactly that, like break the tension, kind of relieve things, but it just the timing of it felt like, hey, here's something really heavy. Oh, super slapstick. No, we're still doing the heavy thing, and it just didn't feel like the right timing to. I don't know. There were a couple other times. That was the one that was the most glaring to me.
Gotcha.
But there were a couple other times that just the timing of the comedic relief felt a little off.
That's a lot. That's in a lot of Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with comedic relief. Like,
No, I
normally
mean,
I think they do really good.
There's a lot of times where they'll undercut some stuff, sometimes a little too frequently. But
and then the third act, definitely fell into the like
Marvel
third act.
Sky Laser.
there were some Well, yeah, it was not a skylight. Yeah, opposite of a skylight. But there were. I mean, I thought at least like that one of the fights in the finale was real cool. I thought this was definitely like one of the better uses of a speedster.
Oh, by far, yeah.
It made Justice League look like shit.
Yeah.
Screw you, Justice League.
I'm looking forward to more, especially with those end credit scenes. So.
Yeah, the end credit scenes definitely got me excited.
Fingers crossed some Marvel movies actually come out after they delayed them all last month.
Yeah, well, basically
Again.
Did they?
Yeah.
I missed that.
They basically just moved them back one slot each.
Yeah.
So it's just, so we'll see.
I mean, that's probably fair.
It
Like,
went from May, I think Doctor Strange went from like May to July or something like that.
Is that going to be the first one after Spidey and Green Christmas?
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's nothing except Spider-Man trailer-wise out right now. So.
Yeah. So I think that, because I was talking to someone literally earlier today about Eternals and like Marvel burnout. Like, I feel like since the pandemic pushed a lot of stuff off, and then they've just released a shit ton of stuff.
Which is
There's been all the shows on Disney. There's been the movies.
Mhm.
It feels like this last like year or so has been Marvel overload. So I think a nice break after, like, if they really do take a break from like Spidey and Christmas until Doctor Strange for the movies in like May or June or whatever. I think that
I don't even know what shows are coming out.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Yep. So
But yeah, I could deal with a little breather.
yeah, I can see that.
That was another thing that I think might be hurting Eternals a little bit, is it just feels like yet another completely new universe of Marvel being brought in that it's hard to connect to.
Yeah. Well, and I heard some people compare it to Justice League in the sense of like, you're just bringing a bunch of people and you don't have the work to build it up. And you're like, yeah, I can see what that's coming on, but I still felt they did a much better job with that than Zack Snyder did.
Did they move Thor?
Yeah, they moved
They moved Thor to after.
Strange? I thought Thor was always after Doctor Strange.
Yeah, maybe it's just in a weird order.
Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing between Spider-Man in December and Doctor Strange in May.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be a nice little break.
Unless there's... Oh, Hawkeye is before Spider-Man.
Yes, correct.
So that's in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But then there's various other shows too. So
yeah,
we'll get to see Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Will he have a beard?
I don't know. We'll see.
Will he have the beard?
Yeah. Oh, I'd be fine if he just looked the same as he did in Dune. So
practically the Dune character.
Yeah.
Anyone? Any other bantery things you wanna try?
Booster shot. I got mine too.
Oh yeah. You
And
both have been boosted.
My arm swelled up a lot, which sucked.
I just noticed yesterday. I was like, I still have a bruise on my arm. Like a week and a half later.
Yeah.
I have not boosted.
Well, I'm going to Texas in a week and a half, so I was like, that's a good time to get that booster shot.
Only I could get a booster every time I go to Texas.
I know, right?
Yeah, just give them to you as you get off the plane. Or
Yeah.
as you get on the plane. When you buy your ticket. I don't know.
Yeah, when you buy your ticket. You want
Yeah.
enough time for it to set in.
And it's like automatic. You're like, I bought a ticket, and then you just like see it, and it'll come from somewhere.
It's like a dart into your neck.
Yep.
3 darts is too many.
All right, well, let's move on to some news. Let's get back to board game stuff. Let's
I
jump over to
guess.
some news and Kickstarters here.
First up in news. Hey, there's a bunch of old board games that no one knows how to play because they're thousands of years old. Well, artificial intelligence will solve everything.
Yeah. So kind of an interesting article in Wired about using AI to basically they're not using it to like discover the rules. They're basically coming up with proposed rule sets and then just using AI to play the shit out of it and see if it works or if that's a broken rule set, which I think seems interesting. It's certainly a way to like use some components and things and maybe figure out if a game is viable, like with the rule set. It does nothing to tell you if that's how the rules actually were. Like if your rule set, the AI says, oh, this is broken and, whatever, white always wins, then there's games out there that are broken games that are still widely popular and widely played. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it is kind of interesting.
There are a couple out there that did have rules.
Yeah, they
classic.
found rules for
Yeah.
The one of the ones they were definitely talking about was a Greek game, Gnosis? I don't know. Knossos. Should call Megan down here. She learned a little bit of Greek. I bet she could pronounce it. But yeah, and just a bunch of different things. A little bit of, like, the article just goes into depth, a little bit more in depth about using AI to kind of solve some of those older games that we have the components for because they, you can find them in graves and temples and things like that.
A lot of graves.
Archaeological sites.
A lot of board games and graves.
I'm going to be buried with all of my games.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Seems
just
right.
all that plastic. All the cardboard and stuff will decay away, and I'll just be left with all the plastic bits.
Yeah.
Like, what is all this plastic? They must be for the same game.
Yeah. Like one of the cool things here I saw was just talking about how, let's get that out of here. It was like looking at like certain boards and like seeing grooves around the boards and like using tech to help like it's like, oh, well, there's like this was probably used to like movement So the tokens and whatnot was probably getting moved through all these different things and like using things like that to help build those sets for the AI
Sure.
to control.
Totally.
It's neat.
Yeah. Next up on news.
Shem Phillips and Sam McDonald of North Sea and West Kingdom fame have a new trilogy that's just been announced for the South Tigris.
Indeed. So it's another 3-game little set that's going to go into this whole kind of, broader world that they're making of them. The Cardinal games, I think they might call them. Something like that.
Wayfarers of the South Tigris will be the first.
Yeah. So historical governance, it'll have a similar color palette and similar related mechanics across all 3 of them.
What was the artist on this series called? It was like a 1-word name.
The artist?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's down here somewhere. Well, so I don't know. It might have been for one of the other. I think it was for North Sea had this particular artist. Mihajo Dmitrievsky is doing South Tigris and also did West Kingdoms, I believe.
Yes,
but I think it was the Milo, maybe.
The Milo,
did
yes.
North Sea. The 3 games that they're going to do are
I want to say that's just what he went by for a long time.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah.
First up is going to be Wayfarers.
Yes.
Then Scholars, and then Inventors. It's going to be the last one. So Wayfarers will come sometime next year in 2022. It'll be a Kickstarter. Then Scholars is scheduled for 2023 and Inventors for 2024.
Raiders was very good. The Shipwrights and Explorers were not as good. The West Kingdom games are all extremely well received. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I wonder what all of these will be.
Yeah, I've enjoyed I think I've only played Raiders, and then I played the one we did the stream of just a couple 3 months ago. Viscounts.
See, you gave it to him. I was gonna let him.
I wasn't gonna
let him sweat.
It wasn't.
I wasn't going to try to get it.
The Rondell game.
Yeah. And I feel like I've maybe played one of the other West Kingdoms, but I might not have.
There's a Paladin one, and then there's another one. I don't remember the other one.
The Paladins.
That's the very single or
solitaire.
Solitaire, yeah.
The Paladins expansion just fulfilled. So that's probably why they're moving on to this, because they're done with the old stuff now.
Sure. Apparently yellow is going to be the color for this one, so all the palettes are going to be very yellow.
Oh, okay.
It was blue, and then it was red, and now it's yellow. Orange next. Green next. Okay.
East something green.
Yeah, we'll find out in 6 to 7 years.
Yep.
Seems fine.
I'm interested. They say Scholars is going to be a crunchier and weightier title that gamifies knowledge sharing and translation work, which might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interested in checking them out.
I would like to play through the West Kingdom games. I have them all.
At some point, even though I've heard that they're not as good, I would like to play all 3 of the North Sea games.
I think some of them are kind of hard to find now.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so that's the news there. There will be the new South Tigris series coming. First one coming on Kickstarter sometime next year. I'm sure we'll cover it when it's on Kickstarter.
I am sure.
Next up on news.
We get surprise Blood Bowl news. Woo!
Sort of.
Well, there's a new Blood Bowl game. That's an old Blood Bowl game. It's called Dungeon Bowl. Dungeon Bowl, I think... I'm just going to start spouting things that are probably not right. I think Dungeon Bowl was actually a precursor to Blood Bowl.
I don't believe so.
Okay. It is very...
I got rid of the other article, but it definitely mentioned that it was part of the 2E rule set, maybe.
Yeah, it was early on, and yeah. Anyways, the Astrogranite. It was kind of like a weird styrofoam. That was your board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, thank you.
Ant has it. You should look at it sometime.
No, I should not. I'm fine. I'm not looking at it.
But Dungeon Bowl, it's kind of like a dungeon crawler where you use Blood Bowl rules. So you're exploring various rooms and stuff while playing Blood Bowl and searching treasure chests for the ball. And once you find the ball, you got to go to the opposite touchdown, or Yeah, that's where that is.
It might be back at the entrance, I think, maybe. And this
Well,
one.
you have different entrances that you're coming in from. So you're also just going through all these various rooms with traps and various tiles. It looks like your standard dungeon crawler, except you're playing Blood Bowl in the midst of all that.
Yeah.
We'll see what the rules changes really are in this.
There's definitely in this one. I think it wasn't in the first one from what I was reading, but I could be wrong. But you build like part of the game is building the dungeon, like flipping the tiles and like building the dungeon.
Exploring through.
Mhm.
It seems like you have your similar dugouts. It seems like there is a scoring mechanic, so you can score more than once. It's not just like, I scored and I win. It's got the same block dice. It is going to come with a combo Skaven Dark Elf team, and then an Ogre Dwarf team, because I guess this is sponsored by the Colleges of Magic, and each school of magic, which there are 8, will have their own like combo teams, which could be cool. I do like that this comes with an ogre sprue, because the box for ogres doesn't come with all the positionals you need. You need actually 2 extra ogres. So if you bought this, you would get the extra ogres that you need to fill out your team up to 6 ogres in the regular Blood Bowl game.
There you go.
So what you're saying is just, if this is a good game that's superfluous, you've got the ogre sprue, and that's what counts.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All
100%. I think they do actually sell
I'm sure.
an additional ogre sprue that is unique. It comes with a female ogre. But yeah, there's like little treasure chests, a lot of minis. I mean, it has the same like bounce die and like passing marker that comes with the base game.
Gotcha. Now, do they have anything here about an actual trip line where you just
Oh, there better fucking be one. That's all I've.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be a whole other box set, just kind of similar to your regular Blood Bowl second season. I'll probably pick it up, try it out. I doubt I'll play it more than a handful of times, but I'm going to own it. God damn it!
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be $120 or something.
I wouldn't be
Horseshit.
surprised.
Yeah, but Dungeon Bowl, neat.
Yeah. Next up, last up.
Splotter's coming out with is this new? New?
I
Brand
can't
new.
remember if we talked about this at all. It had been the
Splotter
name at
has
least had been
never
released.
made this game
Correct.
before.
Oh yes, this is a new Splotter game.
Oh my god, a new Splotter game that you'll only be able to get every 2 years. Horseless Carriage.
Whoa, you're being way generous if you could get every 2 years.
Generally, they come out about every 2 years now, right?
Well, their reprint cycle is about every 2 years,
Yeah.
but it's like
It's
you
not
know
every game gets reprinted.
Oh,
every 2
Yeah.
I
years.
see. Well, a food chain kind of gets a little.
Well,
extra
that's like their most popular.
Yeah,
game.
Food
and the
Chain-
one they can charge the most for.
yeah, Food Chain
Yes.
comes out about every 6 months. It seems like they release batches of that. pretty
Pre-ordering for
regularly.
$105. Anyways, Horseless Carriage can be yours for 84
Euro, so about $100.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds about right.
Summer 2022.
Does it have shipping on that, or
Absolutely not.
No.
okay?
Um,
So I'm sure it's super reasonably priced.
yeah.
So what's this one going to be about?
So this one is about the dawn of the automobile, a time when cars were invented and no one quite knew yet what they would look like. So you are inventors trying to invent functional automobiles. So you're trying to gauge the market and what the market wants versus what is actually functional. Like it talks about how, cars would have things like, where was it? No, they must have changed their little. One of the things I'd read from them earlier talked about. Brakes were not always seen as essential, but sometimes an outside spot to take along an onboard mechanic was in some of the very early cars. Like, they had weird, crank starts, or like steering was sometimes like 2 levers instead of a wheel. All kinds of weird
I
shit.
can see this.
So, and they've got a fun little image of an old school
Yeah, that screams fun.
horseless carriage there. It looks like you steer it with a crank.
Yep.
What's the old-timey bicycle called? The one with the huge wheel, the tiny wheel?
Oh shit.
Penny farthing?
Yeah, penny farthing.
It looks like a penny farthing with a Wright Brothers plane engine attached.
Yeah.
Runs off a thimble full of corn oil.
Probably not far off.
I mean, that'd be nice now.
So, I mean, they basically do. E85, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than a thimble, but
They don't say how much shipping is going to be, but they say there is reduced shipping prices for orders from the U.S., Australia, Japan, China, South Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam.
Southeast Asia.
While it's in pre-order. And to get the special shipping, you can only pre-order Horseless Carriage. If you pre-order anything else, you're fucked. You're going to get charged the full shipping.
Good luck, everyone. We're all counting on you.
Yeah. So
a new Splotter. What was the last new?
The last new one was probably Food Chain.
Yeah,
I think so. Especially because they had the full big ketchup expansion that was like a full big box expansion with a bunch of different shit in it. But I think Food Chain was their most recent,
which was 2015.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, Horseless Carriage. Go pre-order if you're interested in it.
That's it for news.
Moving on to Kickstarters.
Kickstarter is Hanamikoji, Geisha's Road, which is a new game,
a sequel.
Yep. Very well funded. 78,000 of its $10,000 goal. 1,600 backers. About 2 to 3 weeks, and you can get the whole shebang. Everything that Hanamikoji has ever released for $59.
Indeed. So
Hanamibroji included, I'm sure.
No, it is not.
No, Hanamibroji.
No.
Geisha's Road plays very similar to Hanamikoji. The ultimate goal seems a little bit different. So you still have the same 4 actions, like play a card, play 1 card, like discard / save another card, lay out 3, your opponent takes 1, you keep 2, lay out 2 piles of 2, your opponent takes 1, you get the other. Those are the main ones, right, Zach? That's
you said keep 1, discard 2, right?
Yeah, this one it's keep 1, discard 1.
Oh, okay, so that's changed.
So it's changed.
Let's see. Yeah,
there you go. Subtle difference. However, instead of like trying to influence different geishas to be part of like your group versus your opponent's group, in this one you're a patron for the geishas
because this is still 2-player only, right?
It is still 2-player.
Keep hearing Geisha.
I don't know. See, now you got me confused because I wonder if it still is
Geisha.
I wonder if it still is 2-player. I think it is. I think it is still definitely 2-player.
Are you willing to stake your reputation on that?
Yeah, it's 2-player.
All right. Okay. I don't know what that was.
Whatever. Stream's still going, so it wasn't important.
There's no way to know.
Yeah. So yeah, still 2-player, but on this one you are each of the see, now I'm overthinking what they're called. Geishas. Each of the geishas have their own little, like, I don't know, space school thing. You're moving them around the track and they're training up to get to full geisha after 1 rotation. And if you can get them all the way around the second time, then they like own the building, the school, the whatever. And you do that. The cards that you play in this one are affecting how far they move around the circle of the 5 geishas. And yeah, you use the same mechanics basically as in Hanamikoji, with item cards to, get like your opponent moves some, you move some. And then the scoring is based on who contributed the most to each geisha's journey, gets points for that geisha because they were the good patron who helped out and got them along their way. There's some scoring for guest tokens and some other little small sundry things that kind of change it up, I think, a little bit more from Hanamikoji. But core mechanics, pretty much the same.
Yes. You can also just get Hanamikoji as well through this if you want.
Yes.
Which was out of print for a long time?
It was out of print for a while.
Yeah. I think it's back in print and has been for a little while.
Yeah, but this is like a new, I think it's like a new artist of it.
I think it might be an updated version for the Hanamikoji that's included on
and
this.
You can also get the expansion little tile things that for that game, because there are like 7 new sets of tokens on plane, like your different actions, I guess. And that's the reason why I'm backing everything, is to get that. And then also a new version of the game, and also to try out this new one. But what
about the Broji game?
know,
I don't need brogy.
we don't need Honey Brogy. No.
You mean the alt art exact same game?
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
It's a garbage game.
Yes. Yes, totally. was it Scholars something?
Scholars of like Wuha.
Yeah.
You can also get some of the other Emperor S4 games like Shadows in Kyoto, Herbalism, some of those in this Kickstarter as well if you want to.
Shadows was it's okay. I've got it.
I want to play it more. I demoed it a couple times back at Origins like 2 or 3 years ago with Deepwater when I was working with them. But I haven't really played it, especially not with people who like aren't just demoing it, passing by a booth, you know, like different when
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're trying to really play. So, yeah. I think they've also unlocked some promo cards and stuff too.
Yep.
So, yeah, bunch of cool stuff for Hanamikoji if you're interested in grabbing that your own selves.
$21 shipping for everything.
US?
Yes.
God damn.
It's a bit steep.
Was it from, I mean, are they in Japan?
I don't know. Maybe.
Is Japan shipping cheap?
They're
in Taiwan.
It's free shipping from Taiwan. So,
yeah. Okay.
So there you go. That's it for Kickstarters.
Kickstarter complete.
Indeed.
Done and done.
We've got a little bit of listener feedback to go check out before we get out of here. Starting with an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email, like Mike Jones has done, which I will read now. It's me again. This is titled, "Hey folks, I hope this email finds you well and that if it doesn't, you will at least have the good grace not to let me know it." That's how I do my workday. "Hey Adrian, how about that horseless carriage, eh?"
Yeah.
We just talked
Always
about
down
it.
for more splatter.
It's in the news. Now that bookkeeping is out of the way, I wanted to publicly thank our very own Jeff on behalf of the staff of the Wizard's Chest for his incredibly thoughtful, generous, and well-timed gift of adult beverages. They made the last few days of Halloween season so much better. So thank you a million times. Thank you. You're all lovely people. Hugs and kisses, MJ.
On behalf of Jeff, you're welcome.
Yeah. I dropped them off like, I don't know, six to 8 cases of beer.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't aware, listening from not in the Denver area, Wizard's Chest is one of the local game stores, but more importantly, a massive costume shop.
Yes, the first floor is a costume shop and magic shop.
Yeah,
just a lot of shop.
A lot of stuff, but costumes is one of their big things, and especially around the Halloween season.
Especially last month for whatever reason. So.
Yeah, especially towards the end of last month.
Yeah,
something must be happening where people suddenly want costumes at the last minute.
You know, I went to a
masquerade wedding. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
it had to have been. Yeah. Couldn't have been anything else.
Couldn't have been anything else.
That masquerade wedding probably wasn't chosen for a specific day that involves dressing up or anything.
Yeah, that was the event though. Everyone just gets married and it does masquerades at the end of October.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the basement is like a huge board game store.
Yeah.
Of like everything as well.
Got a lot of RPG stuff. You can get like shit ton of minis there.
That's where I get most of my
shit ton of minis.
It's mostly where I get my Games Workshop stuff from now.
That's where I get a lot of my D&D minis. Yeah. They even have like a whole section. I don't ever go for these because I don't have the superfluous income, but they definitely have somebody who hand paints a lot of minis. You can buy the painted minis. They've got a huge glass case full of beautifully painted, awesome D&D minis and stuff.
They have the giant Cthulhu from Cthulhu Death May Die down there, painted.
Yep. They've got one of the big, huge D&D ships fully painted that's just like, I want to run a naval campaign just so I have an excuse to spend way too much money on that thing.
So yeah, I dropped them off a fuckload of beer, and they were crazy busy, so I haven't even been back since I did that. So Mike Jones was dressed as Macho Man.
Nice.
Like on the register the whole time, and the line was like 20 people deep.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
But V was there, and so I was like, V, I'm dropping off beer. I partnered with Mike Jones, but he's busy. And then I showed her the beer, and she was like, we can't bring that in through the front. So we brought it in through the back. And they were like, oh my God. So, yeah.
There you go. Always being a hero, Jeff.
Especially to retail workers.
There you go.
Yeah. I hope you were all 21.
I'm sure that the store self-regulated that.
They better have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for listener feedback. So that pretty much wraps everything up for tonight. If you would like to get in touch with us, there's a bunch of different ways you can do so. You can send us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
We have an Instagram account @MHGameGuys. Our Facebook page, facebook.com/MHGameGuys, now featuring podcast episodes, has been for several months.
Part of the metaverse.
I know. Eventually, you're going to be able to VR into the podcast studio.
Ew.
You can really, really get in close. Feel like you're here.
We'll get some real lawnmower man going on. You too could feel the moisture in the room.
Thankfully, it's winter right now, so the moisture content stays.
It's not even
reasonable.
winter yet. It's not even winter yet.
No.
It's basically winter.
No.
No.
Well, it was like 80 degrees just the other day.
Yes,
So.
correct.
Anyway, continuing on, for website information stuff, go to punchboardmedia.com, where you can find our episode posts with links to the different things we talk about, the news and Kickstarter items. While you're there, you can feel free to check out the other awesome members of Punchboard Media, the media company that we were founding members of that has grown into a whole bunch of different people doing all kinds of written work and video work and all sorts of stuff. So go check all of them out. You can also find links to things like our Slack channel. If you want to come hang out and chat with us all in Slack, our BGG guild number 2731. If you want to jump over there and check things out. We don't do a lot on BGG anymore.
Mainly because we don't do a lot of
Streaming.
streaming.
We haven't gotten back in the flow of streaming games.
Yeah.
I want to stream this Friday, but we'll see. Nothing is officially planned. It's been a weird month. Yeah. Be sure to like, follow, whatever it is. Follow us over on Twitch, twitch.tv.
Smash on that like button.
Guys. Smash it. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. That's everything.
Yeah. If we do stream, I got us the board game table mat too.
And it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Perfect.
I could actually, for the few people who are still in chat or watching the stream, let's see here which one it'd be. We'll do the MHDD one. So the camera.
Oh, you can see the paper towels.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Shit.
What'd you
It's
do?
this one.
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta just zoom way out.
Well, it's blue.
It's blue. It's
Yeah,
You're not going
cool.
to get much.
Very blue.
Cool, we did it.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Now everyone knows.
Now, yeah. Now they can
I
tell
like
the difference
this. I
between.
like this candid view of Zach on the other camera. Right
Yeah.
now. That's really
and,
where it's
and
at.
mostly me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over.
It's over. We're back to the regular stuff.
I do have one thing. I was greeted the other last week by a coworker, our head of QA, Bernardo, who met someone named Eric, ARIK, that worked in the
A-R-I-K. A-R-I-K in Eric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
Okay.
His last name was equally complicated, and I don't remember it.
Okay. You just got to give me about 5 minutes to process that.
Okay. So anyway, while he's processing, continue with your story.
So he worked in the beer world, and then he knew that my coworker, Bernardo, worked at Avery, and he was like, "Oh, you should say hi to Jeff. I'm a podcast fan."
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
And he knew that I worked at Avery, knew he worked at Avery, and said hi. So hi.
Hello.
Hope you made it to the end of the episode.
Hope so.
We'll see.
Doubtful, but I mean, it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's
so-
not the longest episode.
No.
Awesome.
And I thought that was neat.
That is neat.
That is neat.
Yeah.
Hi, Eric.
Yeah.
That's gonna wrap everything up. On that note, as always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Vroom Vroom Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.